He was a sturdy, straw-haired man of 30, with a rather hard mouth and a supercilious manner. Two shining, arrogant eyes had established dominance over his face and gave him the appearance of always leaning aggressively forward. Not even the effeminate swank of his clothes could hide the enormous power of that body. And you could see a great pack of muscle shifting when his shoulder moved under his coat. It was a body capable of enormous leverage, a cruel body.
Going up that river was like traveling back to the earliest beginnings of the world, when vegetation rioted on the earth and the big trees were kings. The air was warm, thick, heavy, sluggish. On silvery sandbanks, hippos and alligators sunned themselves side by side. The broadening waters flowed through a mob of wooded islands. You lost your way on that river as you would in a desert, till you thought yourself bewitched and cut off forever from everything you had once known.
The boy saw the bear, half erect, strike one of the hounds with its paw and hurl it 5 or 6 feet, and then, rising and rising as though it would never stop, stand erect again. Then Boone was running. The boy saw the gleam of the blade in Boone's hand and watched him leap among the hounds, hurdling them, kicking them aside as he ran, and flying himself at the bear and the glint of the knife as it rose and fell.
Fantastic or real, familiar or unfamiliar, serious or funny. These are the worlds of the novel. And there are no boundaries to what it can undertake, because a novel is simply defined as an extended work of prose fiction. Extended in the sense that a novel is longer than a short story, and whether it's 100 or 1,000 pages, it's long enough to develop a variety of characters in depth, explore a time and place fully, and follow the twists and turns of a complicated plot. We say a novel is prose fiction because in earlier times long stories were usually told in verse. In the history of literature, it's a newcomer, a much younger form than either poetry or drama. By its very nature, the novel could not flower before two historical developments: the invention of the printing press, allowing wide distribution of books, and the growth of education, spreading literacy to an increasing number of potential readers. It was only in 1605, with the publication in Spain of Cervantes' Don Quixote, that the novel really began to take shape. And it was not until 1719, with Daniel Defoe's Robinson Crusoe, that the novel appeared in England. The interest in both of these books was mainly on the episodes that made up their plots. In 1740, however, Samuel Richardson's Pamela was published. This was a novel that created as much interest in its character as its plot, and, in fact, is referred to as a novel of character. In 19th century England, the novel was as popular as movies and television are today, and many of the greatest novels were serialized in newspapers and magazines. Charles Dickens, with his comic genius, his social criticism, and his grasp of English society from top to bottom, remains one of the finest English novelists. In America, many novelists were interested in showing characters in isolation from society, characters who underwent symbolic adventures, like Captain Ahab's quest of the great white whale in Herman Melville's Moby Dick. Later in the 19th century, other writers, especially in Russia, expanded the frontiers of the novel to include the deepest regions of human psychology.